but that's the thing, like having that collaboration really changed the story and it elevated it. And I feel like maybe that's what happened with Starside. You just had to like explain it to someone and they had to help you just dissect it and put the pieces together. Is that kind of what happened with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You actually, it's funny. I know we did a little bit of talking and we filled out the form beforehand, but like you brought up a lot of stuff that like it strangely are the exact things that like we talk about a lot of like, so real quick, like when we do our scripts, we actually kind of like, we don't do them in that sort of kind of standard
page
format.
One, panel one.
Yeah, we tend to like write it almost like a screenplay. And when we work with Jordan on kind of thumbnailing the issue, we kind of, we kind of look at it from a more like it's like a cinematic point of view. And we just kind of pick which frame would be the best to kind of get across this idea. You know what I mean? This moment, it's a moment of action or it's a moment of calmness and quiet. What's the best frame of this, if it was a movie to put in comic form? And I think that's kind of how we maybe have achieved, I always think we can do something better once it's out there, but like why I think some of those moments come through like that is because we are kind of viewing it more in motion before we stick it into the page. But I think a lot of that has been amplified by Jordan's collaboration. I think obviously Lane's collaboration with me and helping to shape the story was like invaluable, but like Jordan really helped give us like we started to strive to make the story as good as his art at a certain point.
Yeah.
And he also kind of held us to a certain standard. Like issue 3, it was written like a whole different way. And he read it and he's like,
something's missing.
There's something wrong here. Like and it was tough to grapple. You know what I mean? Issues 1 and 2 were kind of done before we brought Jordan into the fold. So it was sort of just like, yeah, here's this kind of script, here's what we were thinking for these things. And then issue 3 was like the first issue that we really like came together on. Mm-hmm. And it took us a while to like grapple with like what's this missing thing? What are we, we introduced a new character there, and like we thought we had a fun way to introduce this character, and then we were talking with him more, and he kind of just like got an even better story out of us that way. And I think issue 3 is one of my personal favorites, and then issue 3 and 4 kind of act as a good companion piece to each other. And so I think we wouldn't feel as strong about that part of this arc if he didn't say something. He could have been an artist that's just like, yeah, just tell me what to draw and we'll do it. And like, and what I said when I was working with Lane about how to get an artist, my biggest fear was like, I didn't want an artist that just did that. I really love collaboration. I said to Lane this morning, like I'm not a solo act. Like I really do love working with people. Like I don't feel comfortable like going off and doing my own thing. I just feel like I just want the best. And I think it's mostly achieved by a team. And, there's some people that have a whole thing and they just do it by themselves. And I'm jealous of those people. But
same. I feel you there. I need a whole squad for me. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I love working with Lane and Jordan. And so I know I kind of went back and I talked about a whole bunch of extra stuff, but you touched on so many things that were like, hey, we kind of do that, or we think about that too. And so
it was pretty amazing that you picked up on
it.
Does having an artist like that kind of intimidate you when you go into writing mode? Like, you have to hit a certain standard because of like their art style and like what they can produce?
Yeah. I mean, like, even though we've been working really closely with Jordan for a while, and there are some days where I feel like I could just be a little like, not like too loose or like too comfortable, but then sometimes like when we show him a new script, I do get a little nervous. I do hope that like, I don't want to have the same, thing we had with issue 3, but at the same time, I know that if we do, well, then this issue is only going to be better than what we think is, we think it is now.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm intimidated. I think especially because
I guess you're right.
We built such a strong team bond and friendship. Mm-hmm. I know that we can all trust each other and our opinions and work together to fix something if it's not quite right. But it definitely, with that, the anecdote about issue 3, like he set the bar at a certain level, and now it's just kind of like subconscious when we're working. You know, I was thinking when you asked that question, like, do I ask myself, is Jordan going to like this? And I don't actively do that, but it's there in my brain that like there is a third party involved, and just always thinking about, is this achieving what we want it to achieve at the level that we want?
Because at the end of the day, like we kind of, I feel like we dragged him into this, and I don't.
Now we have to succeed for Jordan's sake.
It's like now I don't, I feel in a way responsible
for his future. It's true.
100%. No, I feel the same way. A lot of my collaborators on that same route where, I mean, I see their skill level. China Rosemary, a perfect example. We're working on a book called Fake Your Death together, and she's astonishing. She's so amazing in that, and I know she gets better with everything we've done. And she's always been just so on top of it and so excited for every script. But every time I hand her a script, I'm just like, I hope you like this one too. I hope you like this one too. Like, and I just like know that I have to hit and she makes me work harder as a creator. And I'm sure I do the same for her to a certain extent, but she's really like so talented that like every time I give her something, I'm just like, all right, I did my absolute best on this. And I know it's my best, or else I wouldn't turn it into you right away. So yeah, no, I totally get you on that. It's really cool because like when you find that right person to collaborate with and they can envision your story as you kind of want it, and as like even elevate it to a certain extent, and when they're elevating it past what your expectations were, because you're already so passionate and excited and ready to like talk about this, so much so that you're sharing it to another person to like create it. Like that's a high level to reach for one. Like I don't care what anyone says, to like be able to share your work to any extent on that level and give it to someone to be like bring it to life. It takes a lot of love to like pour it. Well, most of the time, I guess not everyone does that, but in certain higher level stuff. But yeah.
Comics with